Hello, wonderful world. It's Jennifer here at Eureka Astrology and Healing, and today we are going to be talking about the astrology of the Sagittarius new moon. The Sagittarius new moon is on December 12th, 2023 at 5:32 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I just wanted to say, for all my faithful, wonderful viewers, everything is okay. No one asked, but I just wanted to say that, I was gone for the first time. I usually do stuff every 2 weeks, and this is the first time in almost 2 years that I missed, but I just needed a little bit of a break. I'm trying to balance, work life, as they say, or I should say, work and all my many things that I love to do, including which are also partly jobs, but also family, friends, etc., etc., etc. So I'm back, and I will try to be consistent. But what I can say is just to catch up a little bit, because it has been a month, is that I did do the video for the Scorpio new moon, and I just have to say I hope everyone's doing okay, because I don't know if you noticed it, but the week before and the week after were intense, and I fared fairly okay, but many people I know had very strong, very poignant shifts in their life, whether it was a loss of a loved one, loss of a job, just really intense things, endings of relationships. And often people that kind of got hit by what I would want to say hit by the aspects of the chart, but I feel like as some of these aspects were reflecting what was happening in these people's lives, usually more than one thing. It was like thing after thing after thing after thing. And I do believe that largely to do with the sun conjuncting Mars and Scorpio, or Mars conjuncting the sun, however you want to say it. Just it really intensified digging deep and letting go. And so I hope that everyone's okay, and that if you were asked to let go and it was a little hard, just try to take care of yourself, but also know that the Scorpio season reminds us that it is transformation, and that it's, I don't want to say for the better, but it's time, because something new is coming into your life. And so I hope everyone's doing all right. With that, let's talk about the notables first on this chart here. First one's first, lots of mutable energy. And what does that mean? Mutable means change, and this has got to do with the planets are falling within what signs. And there are going to be 3 planets in Sagittarius and 2 in Pisces, bringing in that shift, that move, that dynamic ask to say, hey, if you think you know what's going on and all of a sudden someone's asking you to pivot. It's going to be the best. To fight a mutable energy, it just doesn't work, because that change is just going to come around anyway, because it wants to. It's saying, hey, it's time to be flexible, time to get moving, time to get grooving. So allow yourself to be flexible and be open to what is coming new, because these are usually changes and shifts often that you don't know about, but that may not always be true. Maybe you're working on your business plan and you realize what you're doing or with your business, it's not working. And it's like, okay, let's think of something different, or let's try to get, Sagittarius word here, a new perspective. Or I should say key phrase for Sagittarius. So be open. The next I should have said first really is it's the new moon. So just remembering that both the sun and the moon are lining up with the constellation Sagittarius. And so they're not technically meeting in the sky side by side. It's how they're crossing their orbits, so it looks like they're crossing paths like that. And so it's amplifying Sagittarius. And so like we said, new perspective, that's one keyword. Exploration, philosophy, understanding, travel. If I did say travel. And there's more to it, but it's deeper than that. But the real core is learning through doing, by going out and putting yourself out there. So that energy, we're going to be asked to get out there. It's also very social. It likes to meet people, talk with people. I mean, it does need a break and kind of pull aside, but it's well placed within the American holiday season, traditional, I should say, a traditional American holiday season, because it's about, hey, let's go out there, but let's meet new people, let's offer people travel a lot, right, for holiday season. So try to enjoy it, try to harness a little bit of the lightness of this one for sure. And there's also, there's gonna be some challenging aspects, but in a way, this has got a very breath of fresh air kind of feeling to it. The next thing I wanted to say is that Mercury is going to station retrograde on December 13th, so the day after this new moon. And what does that mean? So again, things don't stop, planets don't stop in the sky, they don't go backwards, but how it's viewed, seen visually, is it looks like it's not moving one way or the other in the night sky. And so that means Mercury thought is slowing down, but like concentrated. So we might be, feeling a little, like thinking a little bit of like more about the practical things in life and like what we have to be doing to take care of ourselves, not even like health, but just like day-to-day functions, but also like who are you responsible to and like how can you help or do your responsibility to others as well, because it's a very responsible feeling. It might feel a little tense, but it's okay. We'll figure it out. And it might be asking us again to like talking about rethinking our foundations, and that'll come up again and again kind of. And when it goes back into days later into Sagittarius, it might want to take some action on this or realize like it might get a new perspective, new ideas on creating that new foundation. And then eventually it will go, direct again into Capricorn, and it will bring us new information that going back into Sagittarius will give that new perspective so we can change and fine tune the things we're trying to work on and create on a deeper, stronger level, like that foundation of I keep referring to it as the dream. I feel like we're building a dream right now, and it's, taking its time, but it's okay. So the other notable is Neptune has stationed direct by December 6th, and that's a very slow planet going back and forth. But again, I feel like that was time for it to be inward. So incubating, what we're talking about, the dream, the vision, the creative part. And now it's going to help bring it out, whatever was incubating in there for us. Let's get into the name of the moon and some of the aspects here. And if you do a new moon ritual, take key phrases and keywords that I'm using and you use that to harness the energy that you want. I mean, I could sit here and tell specific things, but really it's important that you create your own ritual and it's like what's happening in your life, because I could be using a bunch of key phrases and words that aren't working for you, but then hear one and it's like, that's the one. Think about that and incorporate that, because new moons are usually about starting and planting new seeds. So if you want to plant new seeds, think about some of these phrases and themes that are coming up and work with them or not. And so this moon from the Raven Caldera's new moon book is the Wanderer's Moon. I adapted the name a little bit for certain reasons, but the Wanderer's Moon works just well. And so this is a light, playful, enthusiastic sense of adventure, and also like just having this thirst for experience and like, I don't know, even knowledge, but like just getting out there and doing it. Curiosity, that's what this moon has. And so it's one of the most jovial and childlike in a positive way moon. So use that. Like hopefully everyone is feeling a little bit better. There are some aspects that make it a little harder, and there are things that are making us go in, but it's taking some of the weight out of all that Scorpio energy that we were having for sure. So I'm grateful for that. It gives us the opportunity to go out and experience life. And in doing it in a different way, that's what it's all about. And so, it's not saying like, hey, go and hang out with your friends. Normally you hang out in their basement, go hang out at the grocery store. I mean, that's a slight shift, but it's like, hey, how about you decide, say if you have no ties, or even if you do, whatever. I mean, what comes to you in this mood comes to, like, go live in another country. So say if you're in America, how about you go to Thailand and teach English? Like, if you can get a job there, go ahead, do it. Try that experience. And what does this do? It really takes you out of your comfort zone. So new moon tip here, number one, I would say, is if you are feeling too comfortable somewhere and feeling stuck, we've got all this mutable energy. It's like, hey, where are you comfortable? And how can you like kind of crack that nut a little bit and explore and push yourself out of that comfort zone? That comfort zone is making maybe some of the visions that you have for your dream a little stale, or you can't quite see it because you're in the same routine. And with this experience, you have perspective on other people's lives, and you realize how, similar things are in the world, but also how different, and how beliefs can shape people as well. Because if you go to another country, by and large, they have their own sets of rituals and beliefs, and go, hey, like, kind of almost make you question, but not in a bad way. Like, is what I believe and some of my beliefs, are they good for me? and getting out of your, I don't know, societal norm, but yeah, like what's around you, like the social norm, really kind of pushing you, because you may find like, oh, that one is not so good for me. And maybe it's good for the other people that I was hanging out with, but not for me. Or maybe you go, hey, this is really good for me. It nourishes me. It supports me. I'm keeping it. Maybe you adopt some from somewhere else. Really play with it. And so I'm not saying you have to move to another country, but you could really like take a class you've never taken, because it's going to expose you. Say you don't like to dance, so you go take a salsa class and you kind of commit to it for a little while, just to get the experience and the skill set. You'll meet people you probably wouldn't have met, most likely, who have different hobbies that might interest you, just all kinds of things, right? And just kind of really getting out there. That's a really positive energy of this moon. And so what I try to tell people, though, with this energy, Sagittarius is fantastic. I'm a large fan of Sagittarius. People who have kind of the archetype or a strong archetype of Sagittarius. However, Sagittarius freedom is another thing I forgot to say. So if you're looking for freedom, or how you can express yourself and be more free. I mean, it's not necessarily about expression, but like just what is free to you, I guess, first and foremost. That's a core thing to think about on its own. But the Sagittarius energy likes it light, and it does not want things to go too deep. And meaning, like, if it gets hard and when things are like kind of comes to shove, it's like, I'm out of here. I've had my fun. I'm done. And it can burn a few bridges doing that, or a lot of bridges. So be careful if you just want to kind of run when something gets hard. Now, I'm not saying you should put yourself in danger. Don't do that. But if you feel like, oh, this is kind of not fun for me anymore, why do you want to run? Is it because you don't want to look at yourself and see what's going on with you? Is it because you don't want to commit? Often with disagreements, say it's a disagreement with somebody and you don't want to be accountable for your actions in the situation, or help clean up your mess. Maybe there's, so to speak, a mess that you've created, and, think about it a little bit. And I ask you not to run away from it, because that is the darker side of this moon, is that there can be a lack of commitment and just follow through. And that does burn bridges. And I don't know if you really fully learn from the experience if you don't finish it, right? What is finished? That is also another broad concept, but I think, when you leave something like, a hot mess, or like there's, a 10-alarm fire going off somewhere, that is not finished, especially if you help start the fire, or, it's you're some way connected to it. You're supposed to help put that out. And then maybe when you put it out and everyone's like square, so to say, like, understands what's happened and everyone's okay, then it could be time to leave. So be cautious for this. And so, if you are doing new moon ritual and you're someone who likes to run at the first sign of like hard or challenging or whatever, maybe you should stick around and find this new seed of like the new commitment to yourself and be able to follow through. With aspects. And so I kind of was looking, and like that energy of this moon with Mars there, Mars is like, yes, go, do, have fun, and run if you don't want to stay. So, there's a little bit of sugar coating going on with this aspect. Like, I'm living in La La Land, and the sweets are sweet, and it is good, and, a little bit of denial maybe about what's going on somewhere in your life. And you have to think about it, like Sagittarius is going to be different in everyone's chart, and everyone's going to have different aspects and transits and stuff. So I can't say for you what that's going to be. And if you like, you can get your chart read with me. You can go out to EurekaAstrologyHealing.com. But really, I can't tell you, but what I can say is like, be on the lookout for sugar coating. And if you are, try to slow yourself down and say, is this a little too sweet? Whatever you're doing, is this a little too good? And I'm not saying you should be like ungrateful or like question something good that comes into your life. I'm talking about something long standing that you're kind of just like, when you have like, a room full of junk and you're like, well, I still have that little path right there and I can still walk there. So it's all good. And, it's like, as like things are falling on you, right? Magazines and boxes. It's like, that little patch is not, I know it's beautiful, but like you're getting hurt here. So, that's just a metaphor. But with that being said, it's kind of interesting. So like another tense aspect is the two benefics, like the planets that are good and happy, so to speak, and bring more in. Jupiter, which does rule Sagittarius, and Venus are opposing each other quite strongly. And so it's like the two good things are kind of fighting, like I've got the better and I've got the better. And it's like, no, no, which doesn't, always happen. And so when I talk about the boxes falling, it's interesting because Jupiter is in Taurus and that's all about materials. And that could be what that looks like for somebody in their chart, Jupiter and Taurus. I need more stuff to feel safe. I need more stuff because then I will live, this means something, right? But I mean, it can also be like valuing yourself and bringing in the resources you need. Maybe you're, finally saving something, like all the good things are coming in, you're saving. So that's a positive thing. And then, but it's not, it's about what you have in yours. And Venus is in Scorpio, which is, I want to connect with another. Like this is going to be a desire to connect with another deeply and another's resources. And so it's saying like, hey, I really want, this other person's resources. And this is something I'm more valuing kind of at the time. And so like there needs to be a balance of valuing yourself, or like seeing the worth in yourself and what you bring to the table, but then also what another brings into the table. And Saturn does bring a little bit of, Mercury, I should say, brings a little bit of sobriety into this situation, saying like, hey, let's be practical about this. What you have is important over here, and you are valued, value yourself, but also, hey, how about you also take a look and value this other, right? That's a very broad metaphor, but the other, they have stuff that they can also help bring to find a balance here. And I feel like that's a nice aspect to this chart. With that, I think there's a lot going on always, but I think that kind of sums it up. We're going to be kind of asked to have a little bit of fun and go out and play and experience, but like don't run away when it gets hard, right? It's not always play. There are ebbs and flows and cycles. And I had a little phrase here written down. What did I say here? Overall, there is a sense that of joy and fun and lightheartedness, but we're also being asked to learn from our experiences here and to commit to the dream that is slowly taking form. There's a lot of undertones and themes of like, yeah, it's kind of coming out, but it's like, slowly, and there's something bigger is being created. With that, I'm Jennifer at Eureka Astrology and Healing. Hit like, subscribe. Like I said, you can get a chart reading with me or herbal consultation at my website. And may the stars guide you and the plants ground you. Ciao for now.